then we imagine ourselves, what about Prof? If Prof can juggle, even us we can juggle. So congratulations, sir.
Thank
We
you.
look forward to making Daystar proud, even with this particular course that you started with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Francis is next for the men's gender.
kind words. And maybe before that, I would like us to migrate and do the devotion. Then we'll have some comments coming in later, but the glory is his. I keep talking about Caro, I still can't get host disabled participant screen sharing. Are you there? Caro?
Prof, I've made you now. You're the host. You can feel free to share. Thank you.
Yeah. So we are going to have a short devotion. I hope the class can see the screen. Everybody can see the screen. And just a short scripture reading, Psalms 9, 1. I'll give thanks to you, Lord, with all my heart. I will tell of all your wonderful deeds. And I'm talking about a spirit of thanksgiving. We see this in countries like America. I think it's 26th or 27th of November is a Thanksgiving Day. And just saying thanks is very, very important. And I would like this class, because we are modeling you beyond the master's degree you're getting, to come out of this class with a different value system around yourself. And for me, it is just the ability to say thank you, an attitude of gratitude in your life. So whoever wrote Psalms, many tell us is David. I will give thanks to you, Lord, with all my heart. I will tell of all your wonderful deeds. And I think I want to give a testimony that what Thanksgiving is all about, and what it does to your life. So I would like to ask, just randomly, I would like to ask Cindy if you're there, and then Cindy, Emma, and then Evans Lusasi, to start us off by reading Cindy, it's a very short song, just the first 2 paragraphs, a spirit of thanksgiving.
Okay, Prof. A spirit of thanksgiving. We are to live with an attitude of thanks in our home. Notice Psalm 9:1 doesn't say to give thanks when everything is going well. Instead, it implies that we should be thankful even when circumstances are challenging. It's all about perspective. God has blessed us more than we deserve, and so we need to be thankful. If your family has food, be thankful. If you can fill the gas tank in your car, give thanks. If you lay your head on a comfortable pillow at night, give thanks.
Yes. And I cannot overemphasize this, because I know that just saying thank you is a blessing to you. First of all, thank you to the Almighty God, but also being thankful to your family, to your spouses, to other people in the country. It's really important, and it doesn't have to be something big like some of us imagine. It doesn't have to be something big, but always learn to be thankful. Evans, take up the next two paragraphs. Is he there, Evans?
Thank you. Yes, I'm here, Prof. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective. God has blessed us more than we deserve, and so we need to be thankful. If you're far, sorry,
No.
there will always be a temptation to focus on what we don't have instead of what we do possess. Every television commercial tries to convince us that we are missing something. They draw our attention away from gratefulness and towards neediness, or merely want. A spirit of thanksgiving is a choice we can make. As your children watch and steady gratitude emerge from our lives, it will be easier for them to keep their eyes off themselves and develop a thankful heart of their own.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very, very important. And I think, and I'm sorry to be rather harsh. The people who always say thank you, they disarm you and they become even more blessed. This is what I've learned in life. And we have so much to thank God for. The fact that we are healthy, the fact that our families exist, it is very, very helpful. The United States has a Thanksgiving Day, and I didn't want to give you the history of that day, but it was declared that there will always be a day when they go to church or they come home and pray and say thank you. I would like this class coming inside our class. I want us to learn to be thankful that God has allowed you to enroll in this master's program, and that I know you might think you know, but I have put all my heart and mind in this program because I believe this will be not just mine, but Daystar's contribution to leadership and governance in this country. And therefore, I'm very thankful to God that we got the enrollment we got, and that you are all have a teachable spirit. I'm thankful to God. And I don't want us to assume anything about this program. I don't want us to think it is just like any other program, because in God allowing us to envisage this program, and now we are busy, I've started working on the PhD program in leadership and policy studies, the curriculum itself. There is something we would like to see coming out of Daystar to Kenya and beyond. And so I'm aware that we would like this program to get enrollment. The next cohort want to get enrollment from across the world. As I told you during COVID, I introduced, I and Sister Lando introduced a free research methods program, and we got over 1,000 students from 77 universities across the world. And we are thankful for that, because it has positioned Daystar differently. And that's why we have felt encouraged to actually take up, develop a curriculum, masters in research methods, which we hope we shall roll out next year. I would like Sarah Ngachi. Are you there, Sarah?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm there, Prof.
Yeah. So when I talk about a parenting principle, I'm talking about parenting in a bigger context. And I am a parent now in this class. I'm parenting you people to become. In your organization, you can act as a parent by demonstrating thankfulness and so on. So I want you to read for us the parenting principle of this sermon and then the points to ponder. Proceed.
Okay, parenting principle. It's better to give than to receive, and better to thank than to want.
Yes.
Points to ponder. Is there a spirit of thankfulness in your home? How do you help foster this spirit? What discredits you?
No.
How do you tell?
No. What?
What distracts you?
Yes.
What distracts you?
Mm.
How do you tell of his wonderful deeds in your home?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, this H is supposed to be caps. Yeah, okay. So let us just, home here can be your school, can be your organization, can be the company. I just want you to know that you become successful by giving. Not money, not birthday cakes, but giving, even your commitment in what you do. I've been asked by Manu Chandaria to edit a book, a biography of Manu Chandaria, and he's a very significant person, and the book is called Success to Significance. And last night we had a very interesting meeting with Kwenda Opanga, who was among the team and who are writing this work. And I gave them a very sharp critique. We were discussing the book for about 3 hours, and I told them what I think. And one of the things I asked them is your spirit in this book? Because please mute your mics. Because I noticed that they were doing a lot of compilation of activities that Chandaria and the family did when they came to Kenya, but I could not feel the spirit. So we dismantled the naming of the chapters. I have asked them to don't just talk about the successes, Carl Wax or Mabati rolling mills and those things, but what is the significance? So you see, I could have been given this book and I just read it. Haraka haraka na sikwa, we don't have any monetary. This is something I'm doing pro bono. I don't want to be paid, but I am giving. And I don't know what God will give me in return for giving. So on Monday, I have an appointment at his house to go, and he's very excited that he has gotten somebody who is independent-minded, who has critiqued the book, and he wants me to go and give him my views, and then we see how to change the narratives in that book. What am I saying? When God gives you an opportunity, like he has given me an opportunity to read and edit this book on Manu Chandaria, I already see it as an opportunity to give. And so I have read that book cover to cover. I mean, every page in the book I've put there the edits, the comments, and so on. And now I'm going to write a report, and then I'm going to meet him. This is what I am talking about. So those of you who are teachers, how much are we giving? How much are we giving? Are you in that school for sure to walk on the corridors? And then when you go to class, you give the minimum? If you are working for an organization, how much are you giving? And I'm emphasizing that the more you give, ladies and gentlemen, the more you will receive. I like the word Florence was talking about. This is a national census where people really vote in, and then there are also areas where you are documented in terms of achievement. What are you doing in that space where you are? And it was not just universities. There were philanthropists like Chandaria, like Mwangi of Equity and others. There were lecturers, there were deans of schools, there were students across being rewarded essentially for giving. So I want you to ponder on that. And I don't want to say, is there a spirit of thankfulness in your home? I just want to say, do you have a spirit of thankfulness? And remember, thankfulness is about giving. And how do you help this spirit? How do you foster this spirit? And what kind of wonderful deeds are you seeing around you because you are giving? So I would like to invite just a few comments, very few, and then we will go on to one more part of the devotion, and then move on to our very interesting, I'm very excited to teach you literature review, because I know I want to bring out things that will stir you up to become that researcher that God intended you to be. Florence Macho.
Good evening, sir. As you mentioned the question, when the points to ponder, question number one, is there a spirit of thankfulness in your home? All of you saw the results for KCBE. My eldest son was sitting for that examination. We had high expectations in terms of what we know he's capable of, given his history. But then when the results came, he had many questions to us than answers. And so we had two choices. You know, this is a child who was doing very well in different subjects. And when it came out, we looked at the results and we were like, this is not you. But even him, he was very surprised. So anyway, so when I picked him from school, because the school had picked him to take him to school when the announcement is being done. And so when I went to pick him, he was very disappointed. But then when we came, we were very quiet. So when he came into the house, I told everybody in the house, we are doing Thanksgiving. So I told my son, I told him, open your mouth and start thanking God for the 8 years that he has given you in primary school. Thanking for the results you have received. And I asked his younger brother to join. So the whole family, we were just raising our voice in thanksgiving, because I remembered in everything we are supposed to give thanks. And so even this one, I was wondering, how do I steer my son to the direction of thanksgiving, even when he's disappointed with these results? And I saw that just lift his spirit up, and he said, you know, Mommy, I want to go to Harvard. I want to make sure that I work hard when I get to Form 1, that there will be no doubt that these are my marks. And so the spirit of thanksgiving lifted the cloud that was there. For me as a parent, seeing a child who's dejected, to a place of where we're like, thank you, Lord. All these 8 years, this child has never gone to hospital. All these 8 years, we've never failed to pay school fees. All these 8 years, you have kept him. And so the spirit of thanksgiving is so critical. And it was critical for me at such a time like this when we got the results that we got. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very rich. Much of Faith, Nzuki. Faith, are you there? If Faith is not there, can we have Liz Mudoni?
Thank you, Prof, for this devotion. This is actually a challenge to all of us. And my point to ponder is, how do you tell of his wonderful deeds in your home? How do you tell of his wonderful deeds at your workplace? How do you tell of his wonderful deeds even when you're with your friends? It's such a challenge that many other times we are complaining and we forget that once upon a time we used to pray for the things that we have right now. But we have forgotten and we tend to complain a lot. And I had a specific a person saying that once you have a thanksgiving heart, that heart becomes thankful. Thanksgiving heart is a thankful. I would like to encourage all of us this evening. Let's have a thankful heart. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very smart, Faith. Thank you.
Prof, I've talked and you have not heard me. Can I be heard now?
Is that Faith?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Then we'll finish with Jimmy Sanya, please, so that we can start the class here.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Mine was to just talk about how we should always give thanks to God. And I have an incident where I have a daughter who is 7 years old. And when he's growing, he's very tall. And when you go to his class at his age, he's now in grade 2, going to grade 3. He's the youngest in terms of age, but the biggest in terms
of age. You're talking of she, isn't it?
I'm talking about my daughter.
Yeah, she. You're saying he.
She. Yeah, I'm talking about she.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she is the youngest in the class.
Yeah.
But the biggest, or the physique, she's very tall, she's very fit. At one time I felt like complaining. Are you sure this is the age of your daughter? Are you sure? And when you look at his father, also my physique, they're very tall. And then I was there asking God, how am I going to go about this? Because everybody is talking about how big she is and everything. One day when I was just complaining myself, every time when she's around, then something was disturbing me, and something kept me, and I was thinking about the given children who cannot walk, who cannot do anything, cannot surely for their life. You have to be there. But my daughter is very bright to class. Everything at home, she cleans herself up and everything that she does. Now, from that time, I went back to the Bible and I came across this verse that you have just shared. And I was very encouraged. And from that time, I always give thanks to God and tell God how I'm thankful for the daughter that He has given me. And every time from that time, I usually don't see her in that I was seeing her. Every day I see her as a real person, a very nice girl, and I'm usually very motivated. And I don't even think about her tallness or her bigness, anything of that. And I feel so much encouraged today because of the same. When we have talked about the same, I feel settled, I feel good, I feel that I'm in an atmosphere. I thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Jimmy, 2 minutes, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Good evening, Prof.
Good evening, Sanya. Yes, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I want to congratulate you for the achievement so far, and I want to say, may God receive all the glory.
Amen.
And number 2, and I want to thank God. This is in line with the scripture that you've shared, and actually with the devotion that we are sharing. I want to thank God even because of what He has for me, even in this program, through you.
Mm.
And in reference to Psalms chapter 9, verses 1, it simply says that I will give thanks to you, Lord, with all my heart. Then I'll tell of your wonderful deeds. I'm asking myself, do we have to thank God because of what he has done alone and nothing else? And I tend to think that thanksgiving will not have meaning. I want to believe that whatever manifests, how God manifests in his good deeds in our lives is first of all spiritual. I'm a firm believer of the Bible. And I believe that before things manifest in the physical, we must have them actually God putting things together so as to manifest in the physical. He has to put things together in the spiritual first. So I believe that when it means what it means by giving thanks, it's actually we can actually give thanks for the wonderful deeds that the Lord has done. One phase is things that are physical already that have manifested, and then two things that are yet to manifest, but in the spirit already God has for us. In the past, when we used to be in school, and even right now with our students, we usually tell our students, thank God for that A that you're going to get this year. Because we have, of course, being teachers, we can actually gauge from the desires of our students. If students say that, hey, I really desire that I move from a C+ to a B+, or I moved from this poor D- to something like a C+, then as a teacher who is firmly grounded in the faith, we usually simply tell them to thank God for that particular grade that they are actually longing for God to give them. In as much as it has not manifested, but it will definitely manifest. That is in accordance to the deeds of God. So at our workplace, the challenge, or at our workplaces, or even our homes, or even with friends, when you're having forums with friends, it's really very difficult, and not actually difficult, but it's a challenge talking of thanks, because most of the people actually attribute thanksgiving and thanks to very, very big things. But the moment you talk of some issues that may appear to you very big, and those are wonderful things that God has done, to others they appear to be so minimal, so trivial. So I think my philosophy is thanksgiving and giving thanks may not necessarily be big things, quote unquote, but as long as it is something that you can see, as long as it's something that you desire God to actually do, then it is worth giving thanks. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate, but just remember, Cara will send this sermon, and I spent some time doing this so that we can always remember we are engaged in kingdom building, and that's the difference. That's the difference. In fact, I've hung on to that realization so much that I know for sure God is going to do other things in Daystar that people never imagined. I know that before I exit Daystar, we shall have a school of medicine. I'm very sure, and we are going to have a teaching hospital. And all these things are coming out of my faith in God and surrendering everything to Him, but also being an active agent towards that purpose that you have in life, and you can apply it to your situation. I think I want to ask Rhoda Ocheng. Is Rhoda on online? Rhoda, are you there? Rhoda Ocheng, is she online? And Jimmy, you can put down your hand now that you have spoken. Rhoda is not there. Is there Oluoch Madiang? Are you there, Oluoch? Wow. Where have all these people gone to?
Hey, Prof. Hi, I am here.
You seem to be running in the field.
Yeah, niko mahali ambapo mvua imenikaba sana, lakini
pole.
hata hivyo ninaweza nikapeana mawazo yangu mawili matatu hivi.
Lakini
kwanza kabisa ningependa kukupa hongera.
Okay, asante.
Na la pili ni kwamba kuwa na moyo wa shukrani. Nadhani ni jambo ambalo katika ulimwengu wetu wa sasa ambapo kuna mental health issues. Kuwa na moyo wa shukrani inaweza kuwa ni mojawapo ya mambo ambayo yanatufanya sisi tuwe na afya njema ya kiakili. Because then we essentially count our blessings rather than live in a situation where we are perpetually wondering about the difficulties we are facing, the bad situations we are living in, the context of government that are going on. So I think having that thanksgiving heart helps us a lot to clear even ourselves and say, despite all this, there are things that we can be thankful for, and we should in fact embrace this. Let me finish it by saying this, Prof. One of the things that we recently found out at the place that I work in is that when a wrong thing happens, we expend a lot of energy and time trying to raise this issue about this is bad, we need a report, we need an action plan and all that kind of stuff. But when a good thing happens, it is as if it is assumed good things should happen. Nobody acknowledges it. It is just thank you and they move on. So I think this devotion helps me to say, look, let us expend the same energy that we expend in lamenting about the wrong things to embrace the good things that happen to us, which are really, really a lot. Asante, and I'm glad that I have been able to speak. I doubt my network and all that. Over to you.
Okay, I think Oluoch nimeambiwa ya kwamba mental issues ni msongo wa mawazo. Kwa lugha
shukran, nitaliandika hapa chini ili wakati ambapo nitaongea tena Kiswahili nitaongea kuhusu msongo wa mawazo. Shukran.
Asante sana. Now, can I have the following people do some reading for me? Remember tulikuwa tumeanza kusoma wiki iliyopita mambo ya busara katika maisha yetu. Tutazidi kufanya hivyo, na ningependa mmoja wetu ajitolee kwa kutusomea the following paragraph. Remember last time we read the power of humility. And now we're going to read always give the best. Na kuna watu tangu nianze kumfundisha sijasikia sauti zao. Sura mmeficha, mmeziba mitandao hata siwaoni. So Vivian Kimathi, sijui kama uko ama haupo. Lilian Kimathi, are you there? Vivian.
Yeah, I am, Prof.
Yeah, can you read us this passage? And I want to enjoy your reading. You know, as an author, you can either massacre my thoughts. When you don't read properly, then you massacre my thoughts. Or you can make me feel very fulfilled. So always give the best. Take over.
All right, thank you. Always give the best. In order to experience the best life has to offer, you must give the best of who you are There is no other way. True fulfillment does not ever come from possessions, relationships, or experiences alone. Fulfillment comes from what you do to put real substance and meaning into what you have. The success you desire in life does not depend on the image you are able to project. Success is a result of authenticity with which you live your life in every moment. If you attempt to cheat life, the best you can hope to get are mere tokens of success. You deserve much more than that. So go ahead and put in the effort and commitment necessary to make each day truly meaningful. Do the work to be honest, creative, productive, and generous in your own unique way. Give your best to life every chance you get. And what you will get in return is a life that is rich and full and increasingly satisfying.
Yes, thank you very much, Vivian Kimathi. That's very delightful reading. I want Evans to challenge your reading. Again, the same passage, Evans. Take it up. Evans Lusasi, are you there?
Okay. Always give the best. In order to experience the best life has to offer, you must give the best of who you are. There is no other way. True fulfillment does not ever come from possessions, relationships, or experiences alone. Fulfillment comes from what you do to put a real substance and meaning into what you have. The success you desire in life does not depend on the image you are able to protect. Success is a result of authenticity with which you live
Are you there?
Your life in every moment. Best you can hope to get are mere tokens of success. So go ahead and put in effort and commitment necessary to make each day truly meaningful. Do the work to be honest, creative, productive, and generous in your unique way. Give your best to life every chance you get. And whatever you'll get in return is a life that's rich and full and increasingly satisfying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to advise the class, and this is now value, character, and spirituality, to always give the best. So, and I can't overemphasize it because many people walk on this earth and they will never realize their potential because they simply have not given their best to the endeavor that God assigned them to. When you are in that school, Menengai High School or Kakamega High School, or you are in the Memorial Hospital, don't do it because somebody is telling you to do it. And I think it's very important that the success you desire in life does not depend on the image you are able to project. Success is a result of the authenticity with which you live your life in every moment. And perhaps the most significant sentence is this for all of you, that if you attempt to cheat life, as wamesema twende kwa darasa on Saturday, you walk there unprepared, the best you can hope to get are mere tokens of success. So you'll get a mean of 4, a mean of 5. And I'm saying you deserve much more than that. And the only way you're going to get that is by giving your best. So go ahead and put in the effort and commitment necessary to make each day truly meaningful. Do the work to be honest, creative, productive, and generous in your own unique way. Give your best to life every chance you get. I have a very long article. I call it The Roots of Serendipity. What actually brings luck to you? It is you increasing the chances in your life. So when you are asked, the ones in high schools here, you are a boarding master, you are a class master, you are, the games master, you are everywhere. You are increasing what we call fortuitous outcomes in your life. So usikae na wale katika shule wanasema mimi kazi yangu ni kuingia kufundisha, and then I go home. You people, you work like donkeys here. You're wasting your time. That is the worst thing you can do in life. Please give your best to life every chance you get. And what you'll get in return is a life that's rich and full and increasingly satisfying. I would like us to learn that. And this is actually has a biblical context. And those of us who are Muslims, you'll find it in the Quran. Those books urge us to give our best. So that is the reading. I want to submit that since you're all my children, Vivian and Evans, you've done very well. You have read very well, but you have not yet made my heart dance. You have not, I'm very authentic. You have not made my heart dance. So ningependa kuwapa nafasi, kumpa nafasi kidogo Doliana na mwingine mmoja Chris Wekesa. Let us listen to this third reading text. And remember, this course is not just a master's in leadership and policy studies. This is a course about the totality of you as a human being. So let us go. Embrace the responsibilities. I've already assigned the people to read. Where are they?
Let me go first.
Please do.
It's easy to be resentful. Maybe the heading, embrace the responsibilities. It's easy to be resentful about your responsibilities and commitments and to see them as burdens. It's much better to be enthusiastically embrace the positive opportunities they offer. Fighting against yourself and your own obligations is never in your best interest. Take the high road, gracefully accepting and fulfilling those obligations. Every area of responsibility gives you the chance to make a positive difference in the world. Each obligation is an opportunity to add value to life. Create the value and put yourself at a significant advantage. Embrace the responsibilities and feel the power that your responsible behavior brings you. It's true that not everyone is willing to move life forward. Yet those who actually do move life forward are the ones who benefit most from the resulting process.
Progress.
Choose to get progress, yes. Choose to get the most out of life by consistently giving your best to life. Honor your commitments meet your obligations, and truly enjoy the goodness that you are helping to sustain.
Wonderful, wonderful reading. I am delighted. Chris, that's wonderful reading. Is Kedogo there? Kedogo, or we pick on somebody else? Because I want to close this. Wow. Okay. Festus de Paraquo, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Prof.
Yeah, can you read for us?
So, embrace responsibilities. It's easy to be resentful about your responsibilities and commitments and to see them as burdens. It's much better to enthusiastically embrace the positive opportunities they offer. Fighting against yourself and your own obligations is never in your best interest. Take the high road, gracefully accepting and fulfilling those obligations. Every area of responsibility gives you the chance to make a positive difference in the world. Each obligation is an opportunity to add value to life. Create that value and put yourself at a significant advantage. Embrace the responsibilities and feel the power that your responsible behavior brings you. It's true that not everyone is willing to move life forward. Yet those who actually do move life forward are the ones who benefit most from the resulting progress. Choose to get the most out of life by consistently giving your best to life. Honor your commitments, meet your obligations.
Katika sana, you are reading so well. Can you read us that last paragraph? Choose to get.
Hello, Prof. I'm here. This is Doliana Kedogo.
Doliana, it's a little late. I want the person who was reading to finish the last paragraph. Choose to get.
Festus. That was Festus.
Yeah, where is the person? They all disappear. Wakimaliza wanasema
No, I'm here.
Yeah.
Festus,
Okay. Go ahead, Festus.
Choose to get the most. Choose to get the most out of life by consistently giving your best to life. Honor commitments, meet your obligations, and truly enjoy the goodness that you are helping to sustain.
Yeah. So remember, these are intellectual thoughts, dispatches, which I write mainly when I'm bored on a Sunday afternoon. I think through. So we have done the power of humility. We have done always give the best. And we are stopping at embrace the responsibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, create that value and put yourself at a significant advantage. Embrace the responsibilities and feel the power that your responsible behavior brings to you. And I love the last paragraph. Choose to get the most out of life by consistently giving your best to life. Honor your commitments, meet your obligations, and truly enjoy the goodness that you are helping to sustain. Sitaki kufafanua. This is a postgraduate class. I want you to think about it and bear that in mind. I think next week we'll do the last piece of writing under this, then we shall have the whole document sent to you for uploading. And not just to keep on your computers, but to be able to disseminate, even in church or at a wedding. You see, this is very good advice to somebody who is getting newly married. Humility, always give the best,
anywhere.
and embrace the responsibilities. Yes, it can go anywhere. So, nimeshukuru sana. Let us now allow me to, I know there are many comments, but we'll go to get going. Allow me to go to the lesson for today. And for me, perhaps one of the best parts in research methods, and we would like to give it a different approach so that you become what I want you to become. And there you are. Participants, I'm sure you can now see the screen. And let me blow it up. And strategies for writing literature reviews. Now, before I do that, remember we are now trying to finish chapter 1. Literature reviews is your chapter 2, but in chapter 1, there are two things that I've not yet covered, and I will want you people to remind me in the next class. The first aspect I've not covered is understanding assumptions in research and how to write them in the study. Understanding assumptions. The next one will be understanding limitations and delimitations, because that forms part of your chapter 1, where you'll be giving me the assumptions, you'll be giving me limitations, you're giving me the delimitations of the scope. And then, of course, we will be in that chapter 1 looking at the significance of the study. So these are hanging areas. I'd like to tie them later, but because of time, I would like to start today with the literature review. How are we going to do this? I'm going to do the typical PowerPoint presentation, and then I'm going to give you the notes from my chapter on literature review from my book. And I will tell you what I want you to do with those notes. Then next week, when you come, I'll give you another set of notes on literature review from somebody else, somebody who has written about literature review. And so you'll have 3 sets of data, 3 sets of information. You'll have the PowerPoint presentation, you'll have Ayiro's notes on literature review, and you'll have Metin's notes on literature review. So I think it is important, the purpose of a literature review, the literature review is a critical look at the existing research that is significant to the work that you are carrying out. And from our problem statement, you know that manifestation of the problem, amplification of the problem is done by either statistics or citations. The citations will have come from the literature review. So what am I saying? Since you desire to carry a master's degree, since you desire to be a researcher, we are saying that you can't do that without reading the works of other people in the area you're going to be engaged in. So the purpose is a critical look at existing research that is significant to the work that you are carrying out. And what is the purpose? One is to provide background information. You must ask yourself, who are the people who were here before you came there? Number 2, doing literature review helps you to establish the importance of the study. The literature review is supposed to demonstrate, you're supposed to demonstrate familiarity in that subject area. So you know the studies that have been done, you know the authors that are significant, and so you are familiar with that area. That's how you'll be able to tease out the gap. And then to carve out a space for further research. So carve out a space, that is, of course, our gap. So this is the purpose of a literature review. And I want you to walk with me. I'll give you, as I said, 2 sets of reading material, but pay attention to this PowerPoint because that helps me in amplifying certain points. What are the characteristics of effective literature reviews? When I read a literature review, I'll get the importance of the research trends in that area. It helps me to assess the strengths and weaknesses of the existing research. It helps me to identify potential gaps in knowledge. And it also justifies a need for current and/or future research projects. So, in other words, you don't just walk and start asking people to help me get a topic. You run to Ayiro and say, Prof, can you help me can you please help me identify a topic for research? We are already gone wrong. So when I become your supervisor, once we know the area, what do you want to research on? What is your point of distress? Why are you feeling conflicted? I'll give you articles in that area, 3, 4, 5 articles. You will read those articles, and this is what the characteristics that will come out from that literature review. Steps for writing a literature review. There is the planning stage. There is reading and research. By the way, how do you acquire that master's? How do you become a master's graduate? How do you become a PhD or a philosopher? Is by reading and researching in a given area. So you are expanding your horizons. So you plan, you read and research, you analyze the literature, you draft what has come out, and you keep revising it until it is refined. I will come to these steps later on. Planning is asking the question, what type of literature review am I writing? And the first thing is the focus. So what is the specific thesis, problem, or research question that my literature review helps to define? So you must put a focus. You can't read all the books in the world on poverty or on examination types or on adolescents' behavior. You must focus. And you identify a focus that allows you to sort and categorize information and then eliminate irrelevant information. So it's very important for you to note that focusing is essential, very essential and deliberate. Then the type. So what type of literature review are you going to conduct? What type of literature review? Are you looking at the theory? of the theories in that area? Are you looking at methodology? Are you looking at policy? Are you looking at quantitative or qualitative aspects of the problem you are undertaking to research on? So you can see the planning stage is very important. The scope. What is the scope? Yes?
Let's go back a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. You had a question?
No. I wanted to take a screenshot so that I can continue writing.
Okay. Okay.
There was a question before focus. What was the question?
I don't get you.
There was a question under planning, the question that you should ask yourself under planning. There is a point before focus in form of a question.
What type of literature review am I writing?
Thank you. We can move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So the scope, and I want to pause here. The scope. What is the scope of my literature review? So you're not going to meander and read all over the place. And what type of sources am I using?
Prof, can I just say something?
Yeah.
You continue.
Yeah.
Prof, this is a very important part you have touched.
Yeah.
Time is a very critical thing, and many people we have done research in the past, but we have never considered this as a very serious matter.
Yeah.
This actually can help us to go to which kind of literature, which kind of text we are going to look at. Then we know the type of literature review we are doing. Then we just go straight to that particular type to look for that book and not look for all kinds of books, which can waste a lot of time.
It is true. So the scope, and I hope by the time I finish my class with you, we shall have no problem. By the way, if you are scribbling any notes, the scope is also called the delimitation, one word. The delimitation, either of the study or of the literature review. Delimitation. And then the academic discipline, what field am I working in? So because we are all coming from different fields, I'm hoping that I'll be meeting very interesting theses from different areas of endeavor from members of this class. Reading and researching. Reading and, yes.
Just a quick one. On scope, do we also include things to do with the time and budget?
Yeah, we'll come to, time and budget poses, it poses a delimitation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does pose a delimitation. Good. Let us mute our mics. Reading and researching. What materials am I going to use? So, first of all, collect and read material. You are lucky in Daystar. We have an abundance of reference materials. Our library will give you any book, any material that you need. And the good thing in Daystar, it doesn't matter whether you are in Wajir or Vihiga or Tana River, you will still be able to access our library so long as there is connectivity. I've told you time and again, when I'm in the US or in Germany or in Australia, I use my library at Daystar with ease. So this is a big advantage we have as an institution. So you summarize the sources of the material you are reading. Who is the author? What is the author's main purpose? What is the author's theoretical perspective or research methodology? Who is the intended audience? What is the principal point, conclusion, thesis, contention, or question? How is the author's position supported? How does this study relate to other studies of the problem or topic? What does this study add to your project? So, lazima tufungue akili. So when you are reading an article, who is the author? What is the purpose? In that article, is there a theoretical framework? What is the research methodology? We now know what a methodology is, right from philosophical underpinnings. So what is the ontological perspective? What is the epistemological perspective of the study? What about the axiology of the study? And then you come to the methods. Are we qualitative, qual? Are we quantitative, quant? Are we RMM, mixed MMR, mixed methods research? And so on and so forth. Who is the audience? What is the contention? I like the word contention. That's why we do research. And how is the author's position supported, etc. I want to emphasize, select only relevant books and articles. And then we shall move very fast if we are able to do that. Analyzing, how do I assess existing research? How do I analyze? And ladies and gentlemen, a literature review is never just a list of studies. It always offers an argument about a body of research. So it is not a litany of just studies planted there, like some of you do in chapter 2. You go around copying and pasting. Horrible, very, very, very cumbersome chapter when I'm trying to read. A literature review is never just a list of studies, and we shall demonstrate this later. It always offers an argument about a body of research. So analysis occurs on two levels: the individual sources and the body of research. Again, that we shall come to later. So these are the 4 tasks of the literature review, and I want you to scribble this very quickly if you want to take a snapshot, but I hope that you are building your own notes. Tasks of literature review. The first one is you summarize. That's why I keep telling you I want a synopsis. I give you an article of 5 pages. I want you to bring out 1 page. That is summarizing. I want you to synthesize. So I want you to bring out of that article you've read, the methodology, the variables of the study, the justification, the limitations and delimitations. So you are actually pulling out constructs of research from that paper. So if I gave you a document of 10 pages, you will synthesize that document and come out with a more refined product. So I normally tell my students, remember photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, you have a lot of carbon dioxide out there. You have, you have a lot of oxygen, you have a lot of green material, you have water, you have sunlight. And after photosynthesis, you are able to show me a potato. Something has come out. So synthesis is very important. And I would really like to pause there. And I would like you to note synthesis. I've done the thesaurus. Look at here. I don't know whether you're able to see this. Are you able to see that? To synthesize, to manufacture, create, make, produce. To synthesize can also mean to fuse, blend, combine, amalgamate, integrate, join. So it is creating a product, bringing these things together. And of course, the opposite of that, the antonym would be to separate. Take things back to where they were: oxygen, green coloring matter, all those water, sunlight, you separate them. But when you synthesize, you bring them together. I would love to see a lot of blending, a lot of amalgamation, integration. I would like to read chapter 2s on literature review that are creative, that come out with a product that gives credence to your study. And then part of the literature review is to critique. Notice it is not just criticizing. Yes, it can be, but look at that: to critique, assessment, evaluation, account, review, appraisal. That is under analysis. To critique, to evaluate, under evaluate, criticize, review, appraise, assess, comment. So what am I saying? I would like to read very rich critiques in your chapter 2. In other words, I'm saying go and become. Lakini mkianza kuchukua materials from articles, you're copying and pasting, then you remain ambiguous, you remain amorphous. That's why some of you, even after you get your master's, you have to keep on reminding people have a master's. They can't see it in you. Yeah. Summary and synthesis. In your own words, summarize and or synthesize the key findings relevant to your study. What do you know about the immediate area? What are the key arguments, key characteristics, key concepts, or key figures? What are the existing debates or theories? What common methodologies are used? And I'll give you illustrations of these later on. Now look at the language for summary and synthesis. You know, you have read an article now, the author was Katuku. You're saying Katuku has demonstrated that. That the quality of education is determined by the levels of funding and the capacity of the teachers. And then your literature review will be saying early works by Ayiro, Kakai, and Mugimu was concerned with. You see, you are summarizing, you are synthesizing. Then Masirembe and Ngugi compared processes for handling, for example. And then additional work by Karasawa et al., Onyango, and Shikuku et al. Deals with. So we are talking about, I'm giving you some sample language for summary and synthesis. And I am hoping that, as the lawyers would say, that what I'm telling you is finding you. I hope it is finding you, whatever that means. I don't know what it means. Yeah. So when I talk about summary and synthesis, this is what I mean. Let me look at this example of summary and synthesis. Under the restrictions of small populations, 4 possible ways to avoid premature convergence were presented. The first one is to revise the gene operators. This is in genetics by Griffiths and Myers applied. Advanced 2-dimensional gene operators to search the optimal cross-section of a beam and significantly improve the results. So the first possible way was that of convergence here. The second way is to adjust gene probability, and this was done by Leet and Topping. They adopted a variable mutation probability and obtained an outperformed result. Don't worry about the biology here. I'm just telling you how somebody summarizes and synthesizes a literature. Hey, class, you will read those articles, you will summarize, but you'll also synthesize coming out of your work. Look at this one, an example of summary and synthesis. Piaget's theory, those in education and psychology. Piaget's theory of stages of cognitive development and Erickson's stages of psychosocial development are commonly used for educational psychology courses. And you can see the articles that this person has referred to. Boric and Tombari, 1997, Lefrankios, 1997, and Slavin, 1997. So you see, this person has summarized Piaget's theory of stages of cognitive development and Erickson's stages of psychosocial development, and has given the source of that information. Then goes on to say Piaget described characteristic behaviors, including artistic ones, such as drawing, as evidence of how children think and what children do as they progress beyond developmental milestones into and through stages of development. You see, these articles could have been almost 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 pages. But now you are actually summarizing and synthesizing, giving a more desirable product from all these studies. What essentially were they about? Comparison and critique. Most of you know, you are all good in English. Evaluates the strengths and weaknesses of the work. That's why we compare and critique. How do the different studies relate? What is new, different, or controversial? What views need further testing? What evidence is lacking, inconclusive, contradicting, or too limited? What research designs or methods seem unsatisfactory? So you have read and now you're giving a critique or a comparison. What is the sample language for comparison and critique? Look at this one. In this ambitious but flawed study, Sang and Olo. You see, this is a comparison, but it is also a critique. Why is it a critique? Because this author or this researcher has labeled it as being ambitious but flawed study. The next example, the general results reflecting the stochastic nature of the flow of goods, this is from business, are similar to those reported by Ayiro and Gishira. So if you are talking about the stochastic nature of the flow of goods, this article that you read is similar to those reported by Ayiro and Gishira. So that is comparing and critiquing. And I would like to see this language come through. This language come through. Now look at this one. This example of comparing and critiquing. Is Boaz online? Boaz Baruch, are you there? Boaz?
Yes, Mwalimu, I'm there. Thank you.
Oh, good. Why don't you read us this example of a comparison and a critique? And this will be my desire to see these aspects of summary, synthesis, comparison, and critique in your literature review. Please take over.
Thank you. This is an example of comparison and critique. The critical response to the poetry of Phyllis Wheatley often registers disappointment or surprise.
Please pause. I'll be stopping you because we are trying to get into this. Phyllis Wheatley, you know, he's a great preacher. He's a composer. The music towards the end of this, I hope I remember to play you his version of Amazing Grace. But look at this, Boaz, what you have just, can you just reread this? Because I want us to see why this is a comparison or why this is a critique. Please.
The critical response to the poetry of Phyllis Wheatley often registers disappointment or surprise.
Yes. Carry on.
Some critics have complained that the verse of this African-American slave is insecure, as in Collins, 1975 at 78, imitative, that's Richmond, 1974, 54 to 66, and incapacitated, that is a book of 1991, 33 to 38, at worst, the product of a white mind, that is in quotes. Jameson, 1974, 414 to 15. Others, in contrast, have applauded Wheatley's critique of Anglo-American discourse, in bracket, that is Kendrick, 1993, 223 to 20. 222 to 23, her revision of literary models.
Yes,
I think it's continuing.
Yes. So I want to begin to see some daring hands come up, and we don't know what this is all about. We are just reading this literature. Why would we label this as consisting of a comparison and a critique? Why? Where do you see that? Yes, Othello. Very good. Othello? I thought I saw your hand up.
Sorry. I was saying that I was going to ask a question. Then this question
just go ahead.
came in. Yes, but before I delve into this particular portion that we are reading now, I would like to ask this question. There's something I noticed in our previous class, one of our previous sessions, that, for example, if you have A, B et al., does it take a singular verb or plural verb? If you want to give it maybe a verb like that.
You are saying, suppose we have?
Supposing you have, okay, I'm saying A, B, C, maybe I should name somebody, but supposing we see, okay, like you're seeing there, Ayiro,
Okay, ABC are authors, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, these are authors, but you are using et al. Do you give it a plural verb or singular verb? Like, for example, you say this person and that person say are. That's what I'm trying to get at.
No. We make reference to the first author.
Yes.
Are you getting?
Yes.
The first author, like Collins and others. That is what et al. Means.
Yes.
So we are making reference to the first author. Yeah.
Okay. So therefore it takes a singular verb,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to clarify. Now, for this one, we are seeing it is both comparison and a critique. There's a kind of a discontent about the poetry of Phyllis Whitley. Some people are saying there that the poetry of Phyllis Whitley often registers disappointment or surprise. So here we come, then we talk about critics have complained that the verse of this African American slave is insecure. So that is something that I was trying to figure out there. When they say it's insecure, it means she is not very confident of what she's saying in her poetry. Then we talk about incapacitated, okay, imitative. American slave is insecure, then it's still described here as imitative and incapacitated. At worst, the product of a white mind. So does it mean that the woman is insecure in what she's saying? She's not actually sure, she's not confident in what she is saying in her poetry. She seems to be mixing what she's supposed to say in her poetry, how she's supposed to be probably critical in her poetry, but the authors here are finding that she's a little bit timid. That's why I'm looking at it.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm trying to see. We have two names, people who have lifted their hands. Jeb Kemboy, Zipporah, and then Helen Gechanga. Please take over.
Hello, Prof.
Yes.
So I want to keep the side of the comparison.
Yeah.
There are two, to me, my understanding, there are two categories of people. There are those who are saying that, there are those who are complaining, and there are those who are happy about those who are happy about happy about the poetry. So to me, that is a comparison. We are comparing between those who have disappointment about the poetry and those who are not, and those who are happy about the poetry. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, that's very good. I wish you would have just picked some aspects, but that is good. Yeah. Who was next? Come in.
Good evening, everyone. Good
Helen.
evening. Yes.
Helen, then Paul Amata. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Helen.
In terms of comparison, I can see Collins, Richmond, and Buck. They're all we can compare the three authors in terms of there's some sort of satisfaction in the poetry of Phyllis. But if you look at there's a contrast, there's some dissatisfaction in the first ones, but in the second one, somebody is okaying the concept of the poetry by Phyllis. So that is why we are looking at the comparison, comparing the authors, what they have said, what they're not satisfied about, and there's somebody who is actually admiring that kind of poetry.
Very good. Very well done. Very good. That's very good. Paula Mata, and then Cindy, and then we move on. Yes.
Yes, Prof. I think my colleague has just said what I wanted to say. Maybe I just echo her that the first authors in this poet, or the first authors here, Collins, Richmond, and Buck, are trying to have some disagreement in the way Phyllis and Phyllis Whitney has done her poetry. And some other authors like Jameson, who is applauding or happy about the poetry. So that's a contrast in terms of comparison.
Okay. But I'm surprised you have mentioned Jameson. Is Jameson
is one of those people, yeah.
It's actually Kendrick.
Yeah? What are you saying?
It's Kendrick who is applauding.
It's Kendrick, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, Kendrick.
I thought Jameson is
the
one
last
of the
authors who are critical of her poetry. Then the others now, they are in contrast.
Yeah. And in fact, he's the harshest critique.
Yeah, that is. Thank you.
Yeah, at worst, the product of a white mind, you see?
Yes.
Yeah, very, very harsh. Yeah, so what is your takeaway that when we are dealing with the literature review, we shall summarize, we shall synthesize, we shall compare, we shall critique. That's what I'm saying. So every time I give you articles and I want you to review the literature, these are your beacons. They might not be inclusive, but these are your beacons. Can somebody, not somebody, I would like Caroline Dunge, Wekesa has read. Caroline Dunge, you have not said much. Can I hear from you? And I want you to read this example of comparison and critique and make us, convince us that you're beginning to get an idea of what a literature review should be. Yes.
Okay. Example on comparison and critique. The situationist model has also received its share of criticism. One of the most frequently cited shortcomings of this approach centers around the assumption that individuals enter into the work context tabula rasa.
Yes. Just by reading this, when I'm reading your chapter, I already see this as a comparison, but it is also a critique. I want someone to tell me, why is it a critique? Why is it a critique? Kedogo, Doliana, have a go at it, and then Sami Sanya and Helen Gashanga. Yeah. Have a go at it, yes.
Sorry, Professor.
Are you having
My
a problem?
hand was previously raised.
Okay, it's okay. Then can we have the next person?
Okay, Prof, let me try.
Yeah.
The situationist model has also, that means amongst other models,
Good.
the situationist model is one of them.
Hmm.
So that is a comparison.
Yeah.
Then one of the most frequently cited shortcomings of this approach centers around the assumption that individuals enter into the work context tabula rasa. That is a criticism.
Yes.
Because it's an assumption and a shortcoming that has been pointed out. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Is there somebody daring to kufafanua hili fumbo kwa urefu kidogo? I'll be excited to hear from Chris Wekesa. I can see your name is.
Yes, let me try, Prof.
Yeah.
To me, this let me take the last line. One of the most frequently cited shortcomings of this approach centers around the assumption that individuals enter into the work context tabula rasa. I happened to come across this word tabula rasa when I was handling theory somewhere. That there is an assumption that human beings are born with what we call the blank slate. So it sorry. So it is an assumption that the minds of individuals are usually devoid at an inmate stage. And so that is the reason why I feel it is a critic, because it is actually critiquing the situational model. Yes.
Yeah, good. What is the essence of labeling something tabula rasa? Baraza has Chris has tried to, not Baraza, Chris has tried to to identify it, to speak to it, but he was nervous.
Can I try?
Yes.
Just to echo what Jimmy, Sanya, and Chris have said, yes, we have quite a number of models that we are comparing to this particular situationalist model. But the critic is now coming on the shortcomings, because the approach is based on assumptions which are within the context of tabula rasa, which means there's lack of predetermined goals that are going to be able to support the model to bring out the outcome that is expected.
Very good. Maybe this is something as somebody who's doing an advanced degree, you need to have. Tabula rasa means an absence of preconceived ideas. Tabula rasa is the idea of individuals being born empty of any built-in mental content, so that all knowledge comes from later perceptions and sensory experiences. But that is not true. You have seen a baby who has just come from the mother's womb, and then she's given the breast, or he's given the breast. They quickly run to it, and they start suckling. And if you try to remove them, they'll start fighting, kicking. So they can't be tabula rasa. There is some innate knowledge already in them. In this context, I don't think one enters a training, even the military or in the bank or in a school, empty. Even pedagogy, somebody will have learned of one way of communicating.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. Yes, I think so. Yeah.
The
All right.
students come to our class having prior knowledge, so we have to work on that knowledge there to help them. So they can't say the students are empty.
No, they're not. And so the evaluative adjectives are those. We are not asking you to memorize them, but to take cognizance of them as you move along. Analyzing is putting it all together. So once you have synthesized, summarized, synthesized, compared, and critiqued your chosen material, you may consider whether these studies demonstrate the topic's chronological development, show different approaches to the problem, show an ongoing debate, center on a seminal study or studies, or demonstrate a paradigm shift. So putting it all together, what have these studies said that will be expected of you in the literature review, but we'll get into details as we look at actual cases. Again, analyzing what do researchers know about this field, what do researchers not know, why should we study this topic, and what will my study contribute? So that is essentially why we do a literature review. And you need to bear that in mind as we go along. Very, very important. And by the way, some people call chapter 2 your dead chapter because you kill it yourself. You kill it because you don't read. And if you read, you just copy and paste. You just copy and paste. You don't summarize, you don't synthesize, you don't compare, you don't critique. So it is a dead chapter. Yes, so you need to know that. I also want you to note that the drafting of the literature review, what am I going to write? We'll come to that later. I don't want to spend too much time on that. But we will be going into the details on how I want that chapter drafted when you are doing your concept paper, but not at this point in time. They are what we call, yes?
Excuse me, Prof, could you please go back to the last slide that we, yes, no, before this one. Yes, no, okay, yeah, analyze it. Thank you. I just got some.
Okay.
This is important. I just want to capture this.
That's fine.
Thank you.
All right. I would like us to take a break of 10 minutes, and then we shall come back and now look at a typical narration of what a literature review is all about, because that is very, very important at this stage in time. Othello, I see your hand is up.
Yes, thank you, Prof. I wanted to ask something, a request of you, but before I do that, there's something I missed. I got in when the Bible study part was already on, and it was touching on my last study. Imagine my devotion was about Thanksgiving. Can you imagine? God does not have coincidence. His things are always planned. I just look at it and say, my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So maybe I will explain a little bit more about this in our next class session. But what I want is that the last session we had, the last class we had, you were to help us to upload that document we were reading, which has given us some examples of a problem statement. I haven't seen it. Yes.
You haven't got it?
No, I haven't. If you can help me, I
Is
will
that
really be grateful.
the whole class? I thought I sent them out immediately. Members of class, did you get those two last documents on problem statement with examples, more examples?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so Othello, you can pick them from the rest of the class.
Okay, thank you.
But before that, who is a good reader? Who can read very, very good reader who has not read? Kedogo Doliana, did you take up your reading?
Yes, please.
You read, eh?
No, I did not. I came in late.
Okay, so you read, you and Jenny Amisi, before we go to the break, no, let's go for the break. Then we pick it up from here. Please, let's have a short interlude of So welcome everybody back. I would like, I'm looking for a reader. I think we are back. I can see we are 41. So we can start, we can go on.
Julina was to start for us.
I'm here.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. I want to read this passage as an example of citing sources. I'll be getting into this later on, but citing sources based on the APA system will do that. But for now, read us this example. How to quote, how to paraphrase.
Okay. Example of citing sources. Quoting, despite pleasant depictions of home life in art, the fact remains that for most 17th century Dutch women, the home represented a curtailment of some degree of independence. Art historian Laurinda Dixon writes that for the majority of women, however, home was a prison, though a prison made bearable by love and approval. 1995, page 136.
Yeah. First of all, in citing, when you see page, this is, of course, we are quoting the work of Laurinda Dixon, 1995. But when you see page, then I must see the quotes. You see, like for the majority of women, however, home was a prison, though a prison made bearable by love and approval. Quotes, end of quote. So if I go to that book, page 136, I'll see that material quoted as shown. So in other words, how do you quote? How do you quote? How do you cite a quotation? You must tell us the page. So we don't just cite Laurinda or Dixon 1995. No, we now put there the page. So that is quoting. But I want us to take a moment and critique this passage. I would like to hear from the class, particularly the females here. Is home a prison? Is home a prison?
The women have not
Made bearable by love and approval. Nangoja, you know, this is a master's class, so we want expressions.
Let's hear from Florence.
Okay, Florence Machio, and then who is the other? Jimmy Sanya and Othello. Can we hear from you people? Yes.
Sorry, Prof. I'd actually raised up my hand because I wanted to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. So can we have some Machio? Is home a prison?
So we have to look, Prof, at the 17th century season. What used to happen then? How are women treated? And so if you go to history of the history of how women came to be in the society, in the marketplace, we realize that particular time, women were meant to be home and to be homemakers. And so this person who's written says, for the majority of women, however, home was a prison. So if you look at it in the sense that there were women who would have wished to be out, to be doing other things apart from homemakers. Then home became a prison for them. But then this statements that though it was a prison made bearable by love and approval, is subject for a lot of debate, because love and approval, it's a whole mouthful, given the fact that we were living in a century where, let's say, Joanne the Arc was, or these notable women were who broke free and are written in history to have gone against the grain to do what women were not supposed to do. Yet, it almost feels like a very patriarchal statement that a prison made bearable by love and approval. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You have totally ignored. I have noticed, Florence. You have ignored the first. You have ignored the first paragraph. I want the people coming in to tell us something about the first paragraph.
Prof, can I come in?
Come in.
I did not want to stir up some honest. You know, today is the beginning of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. So I'm being very cautious. Go ahead, Othello.
Yeah, Prof, initially I was trying to agree with Florence of what she was talking about, the time this particular statement is talking about 17th century, but then she contrasted. If I don't want to use strong words, she contradicted herself. But this last part of the statement is more patriarchal. I think the period we are talking about here, this woman has said that the home was a prison for the fact that women were always at home. So it was like, it's very monotonous, it's very boring for the women to be at home all the time. And me being homemakers, it's like a prison. But then she said it was made bearable by love and approval. And that is a statement that actually washed out the previous negative statement. But now, Florence is trying to say this is patriarchal.
Othello, patriarchy, the custodians of patriarchy are both men and women. So patriarchy is not a prerogative for men.
No.
The custodians of patriarchy are also women. Go ahead, Othello.
All right, thank you for that. And so we say that despite pleasant depictions of home life in art, the fact remains that for most 17th century Dutch women, the home represented a curtailment of some degree of independence. I think that is what the problem is. This is where the contention is, a curtailment of some degree of independence. So the women are not independent, and so they are kept at home. I think that is where the contention is, curtailment.
But I keep asking, I keep asking whether we really know the value of, the value of the mother in the home. Is it really curtailment of some freedom of independence, or mothers are, because of the commitments, most of those commitments are domiciled at home. So it is not like they are, somebody has curtailed the degree of independence. And I know for sure that as families develop and children grow, that what is seen as a prison becomes the biggest advantage, because she has always been ever present for the children, and therefore there's a stronger sense of endearment to the mother than to the father, which works as a very big disadvantage moving down memory lane, or moving down the history, or moving down the age curve. Yeah. So I want you to think about that. Let us look at the paraphrasing. The other reader was who? The paraphrasing. Who was supposed to read?
There's somebody else.
Amisi, Jenny, Amisi, can you read us the paraphrasing? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Paraphrasing. Despite pleasant depictions of home life in arts, despite pleasant depictions of home life in arts, the fact remains that for most 17th century Dutch women, the home represented a curtailment of some degree of independence. Art historian Lorinda Dixon argues that the home actually imprisoned most women. She adds that this prison was made attractive by three things: the prescriptions of doctors of the day against idleness, the praise given diligent housewives, and the romantic ideal based on love and respect. 1995, page 136.
Yeah. That is paraphrasing. They have not quoted verbatim. They have paraphrased here. And you'll have to do this citing in your literature review, either citing actual studies or quoting or paraphrasing. I love that, but I don't know how many of you are with me with that passage. So I at the expense of asking you to repeat yourself, I would like you to read that again, because we want to pull out something as philosophers now, as master students. Please reread the person who read. That was very good reading, by the way.
Thank
Bro,
you.
this is good. This is what we do.
Very, very good reading. In fact, the best I've
all the time.
listened. The best I've listened to this evening.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing. Despite pleasant depictions of home life in art, the fact remains that for most 17th century Dutch women, the home represented a curtailment of some degree of independence. Art historian Lorinda Dixon argues that the home actually imprisoned most women. She adds that this prison was made attractive by three things: the prescriptions of doctors of the day against idleness, the praise given diligent housewives, and the romantic ideal based on love and respect. 1995, page 136.
Yeah. Okay. So I would like to get some views here. The prison was made attractive by three things. Those three things. And those three things are the prescriptions of doctors of the day against idleness, the praise given diligent housewives, and the romantic ideal based on love and respect. Can somebody take their minds into this and tell me what is this all about? You know, to paraphrase means you're using your own language and words to explain what you read in the literature. So can we have one or two people have a go at this? Yes, Kedogo.
Okay. So from what I'm getting, this bit, the prescription of doctors of the day against idleness, maybe these women will feel like it's a prison, but now they are being convinced that you are supposed to be busy, you're supposed to be doing this and this, so that you're not idle. You're supposed to engage in activities so that you do not feel the aspect of being idle. Then, people will just be saying, not necessarily doctors, but just hearsay of people, like that is what a woman is supposed to do. Then there are these praises given to diligent houses, like even now unasikia mke bora lazima sijui afanye nini, a good housewife should do this and this. So
it a good housewife? Is it Proverbs what, 39? I think it's
31.
31.
Proverbs that.
Proverbs 31, the one
Yeah,
whose
Proverbs
house is, yeah.
Yeah, so could that be the praise given to diligent housewives? I don't know.
No, I think it was just a way of keeping them, yeah, in that.
Yeah, we are listening.
Very interesting.
It's very interesting. It is. Can I listen to Zipporah, Jepkemboy, and Zuki? Then we'll come to Machu and Wekesa. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Prof. I want to give my argument basing on the African culture. According to the African culture, a woman was supposed to be if a woman was supposed to be at home, he was supposed to take care of the family, and he was supposed to concentrate on the affairs of the family, majorly taking care of being a homemaker. So to me, the doctors of that day majorly refers to the African culture and the tradition. So basing on that,
Yes.
basing on the African culture and the traditions, the role of a woman was to take care of the family. Majorly, they were supposed to stay at home, take care of the family, take care of the husband, respect the husband. So all that was the role of a woman. Thank you.
Yeah, and what I'm asking, what was the praise given diligent housewives? 17th century or in an African setting? For example, me, I never had my father tell my mother, "I love you." I never had that. So I don't know what helped my mother in that prison. I don't know what helped her survive in that prison or what.
Maybe there were phrases like the man would bring home his friends, and he's like, my wife can cook well. Then she has to present a meal, maybe. So they gauge it, if it motivates her or maybe encourages her. So she gets the satisfaction from the praises.
Okay. What do you think we had a romantic ideal based on love and respect?
I'm thinking submissiveness. Maybe the woman smiling, helping, doing, serving the husband. So that to her was love and respect.
Okay. Yeah, but the point is this: we have gone into the substance of the writing, but the main important thing is that in research, when you are quoting, then you must put that material in quotation marks and you must tell us the page. Another thing I'll encourage all of us to avoid plagiarism is to do paraphrasing, to be able to read material and now express it in your own ways. And you can see how beautifully this one come out. Yeah, so that's interesting. And I'm reading a lot of interesting on the chat. Josephine is saying, I think for people those days, actions are better than words, so they didn't have to say anything. So if the husband brings meat every day at home and slaps you every night, that is okay. They are providing, therefore they are making your prison more bearable. I don't know. I'm just provoking you.
Prof,
Yeah.
just a question. In most cases, I think, I don't know, maybe I stand to be corrected. Paraphrasing tends to, when we put the information in our own words, don't you think we tend to lose the original meaning?
I don't think so. I think paraphrasing lifts your skills, and as you paraphrase, you try to remain true to the meaning, and you discover that then you begin to be more authentic than quoting and just citing. So paraphrasing, you are more adventurous. Let me put it that way, in terms of research writing. Yeah.
Allow me, Prof.
Yes,
and
yeah.
I'm happy for the colleague who has asked that question, because as I'm looking at these two paragraphs, I'm actually finding that the paraphrasing is giving me more information that is in the quoting. In fact, I was wondering to that extent, because paraphrasing, if I take it from the point of view of, in my own words, say this same thing. I don't know whether in the quoting they missed some stuff and then added them in the paraphrasing. Is that there isn't a problem there? Because I don't get, for example, the issues of the doctor's prescription in the first paragraph. Over.
Yeah, I think if you look at the quote, it talks about home was a prison, though a prison made bearable by love and approval. So somebody who has read around that subject would be trying to say what is love and what is approval. So approval to this other person is the praise given to diligent housewives. You're cooking. My wife's cooking is the best. Oh, my wife is very clean in the kitchen, very clean. And when she's in the kitchen, I can watch my news in peace because she's very busy. You know, those things.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's what it is. Any other comment you want to move away from here? We have half an hour to go. Want to move away?
Yeah, Prof. I should say that even though you said you never had your father say "I love you" to your mom, I think in the African context it wasn't there really much. But if you explore the music of especially for example the Luo people, the amount of expression of love there is even beyond the Western one. my take.
It was based on it was based mostly on praise.
On praise.
Yes, Prof, I'm happy that you brought this issue up, and I also love our comment from our sister who talk about the culture, because she hit the nail on the head. I thought many people were thrown off by the fact that this statement is saying the prescription of doctors. People may be thinking about, we're talking about medical doctors here. It's the culture of prescription.
Yeah.
Prof, allow me to also add in something before you move.
Okay, Chris. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to digest this statement into three. That looking at the prescription of the doctors of the day in traditional African society, especially from where I come from in Bukusu, I would easily say that the doctors of the day here represents the traditions, the African leaders, the wazes in the village, who set the rules and the standards of how people should stay, how homes should operate. And therefore, of course, including the Council of Elders. And then on the on the praises given to the housewives, they actually set the standards that were supposed to be followed by all the homes. And therefore, they then enticed these wives with the good words, for example, where we're talking of the respect and the love. But then the love was shown through provision, making sure that a woman is at home, but then she doesn't lack anything. Milk was available and everything. But then looking at this article, it seems like it's written by a person of the current generation who looks at that prior life as having been a prison. But in essence, even in the current state, we have communities who still doesn't value women, especially the Somali and the Maasai. So it's still something that's evident, and that's what I get from this.
That's a very dangerous statement, because how do you know? You haven't done research. You can't say they don't value. I know my Maasai friends who really love their wives and Somali men who will do anything.
For
Prof, can
Somalis,
I
I
add
think
something?
Yes.
Professor, don't name those guys, please.
I think it's
Prof.
because I have I've worked in Somaliland for 2 years, and so I happened to go deep, learn their culture, and so not all of them, but most of them really don't recognize women, and actually women will not sit on the chair. They have to be on the floor.
No, but that is just a culture. That's just
Yeah, that's just observation of culture, and it's going to
Yeah.
be biased to be Ewekesa.
Yeah.
You see, Chris, I have covered those people while in media, and you go to the mosque there, the women are in a separate area, the men in separate area. It's always like that.
Prof.
Prof, can I say something?
Can I say something?
Yeah, can we go in this order so that everybody has a chance? I want to run away. We want to do some speed reading for the article, which will be on literature review, and I need you to know it's an assignment. So can we, is it Cindy or Faith? Faith Nzuki? Cindy?
Prof, my hand has been up for a long time.
Yes,
Okay,
Prof.
go ahead. Then
Cindy
after
here.
that, we'll have Faith, Cindy, Boaz, and then Macho.
And Manyara.
Okay, fine. Very quickly, please, 2 minutes each.
Okay, this is Faith.
Yeah.
I was trying to look at quoting and the paraphrasing. And I think I concur with them. They are talking about the same thing, because when the paraphrasing is done, they are looking at these three things. And when they talk about the prescriptions of the doctors of the day, I think they want to talk about the activeness of those traditional women, how they were supposed to be active and wake up very early in the morning, make sure that they do everything that is supposed to be done, raise the children and run the heralds in the home. And then the praises that they were given, maybe these men, when they meet, they used to talk about their women and talk about, you see, so-and-so's wife does this. When you go to the homestead, it's very clean. And again, when you talk about the romantic ideal based on love and respect, it means that when they came home, they were received well, and the wives used to praise them, and they welcomed them, they gave them food, they prepared where to rest, and all this. And that is how they showed that love and respect, and they received the same from the husband. That was my view.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, in the order.
Yeah, so Prof, mine was a question based on the quotation and the paraphrasing.
Yes.
A prison made bearable by love and approval, and the prison was made attractive by three things. Is the word adjective, attractive, and bearable synonyms? They are not, I think. So are the two statements different, and they explain the same thing in context?
Yeah, basically. So the challenge for you as a researcher is when you are paraphrasing, you have to remain very close to the meaning of the author. Here, I think for me, this paraphrasing here is intellectually romantic. He has taken liberty. Laurinda Dixon. But I wanted to ask you people, is home a prison? Do our wives or do our mothers feel imprisoned, or they have a mind to want to be at home? They feel not just safe, but they feel functional, more useful. You know, they'll tell you, I've not been at home and my children are coming. I haven't prepared this for them. Today's a weekend. It's so-and-so's birthday. Is it a prison? That's what I would like to hear.
Prof, I have a question for you.
Yes.
In which century are we basing our response on?
Even today, is it a prison?
Why do we call
May I?
why do
One
we
at a time, one at a time, Kedogo.
Well, it depends on a lot of factors, but I'm drawn to this statement. Why do we say pingu za maisha?
Why
Because
do we say?
pingu relates with prison.
Yeah, we say pingu za
could
maisha.
we be taking back to the 17th century? What is peculiar? What is the similarity?
Na mimi pia nafunga hizo pingu, si ndio? Mimi kama mwanaume ama sifungi?
But in this century, I think women have had, okay, we have those who feel like it's a prison, those who are living in, maybe the husband is beating them, they have too much work, maybe they are single, nobody is supporting them. Then we have this other kind of women who feel like they're loved, taken care of, they have assistants who can help. Maybe the husband also is taking part in some chores in the house. So it just depends.
Okay. Can we have Boaz come in?
Thank you, Prof. I'll disappoint you. I'll not comment on that aspect of home being a prison or not, because it is actually relative based on the lens that one puts on. So I wanted to go back to where the discussion was on the quotation and then the paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And particularly, I wanted to say, for me, from this, you see, there are two speakers. There's the researcher and there's the author being quoted. And I think when I look at the first on the quotation, when you quote, because then you don't have the latitude to add anything, you extract it as it is.
Yeah.
And of course, reading it, you see the term prison there. The prison made bearable by love and approval, and of course that is very clearly articulated. But when you come to the paraphrasing, where now the words of the researcher is coming in, I tend to think the first thing I get is that this is a feminist who has a lot of information about gender, a lot of material, some literature which may not necessarily be emanating from what the author has written. And from there, I think in as much as I know you said that you should be herding your cattle closer to the lake or to the stream, I'm beginning to feel that this paraphrasing creates some latitude, the space that would be so wide. Because then, maybe you could guide us on the scope or the limits within which this paraphrasing can be done, or one can use it just to strengthen a perspective that you already have or you hold, like what the feminist is speaking about here. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. A good point. And we will be getting into illustrations and examples. I think what I want you to go away with today is that in citing sources, we can cite directly, we can quote, and we can paraphrase. And I'm happy with the challenge that people are beginning to realize around paraphrasing, and that you can bust your limits to say different things. But if you sit down in your own private time and you look at the quote above and the three things, because the prison was made attractive by three things. We are told in the quote above that the home was a prison, though a prison made bearable by love and approval. Now, what is love? What is approval? If you look at praise, love, and respect, it is all encapsulated there. The prescription of doctors of the day against idleness can also be seen a way of somebody loving the wife such that they are exposed to activities that will not make them feel bored, if I want to put it that way. So yeah, that's why we are at this level. We need to think through, articulate, defend our own positions, and therefore become the scholar that we all would wish to see out all over you. We have 20 minutes, and I would like to plead that we go through the speed reading so that I can give you the assignment. So this document is coming to you. The PowerPoint presentation is coming to you through the coordinator, Carol. The second document that I would like you to have is this literature review by, let me see. Yeah, I think it has come. And this is quite a large document. It's 19 pages. And this is now where we want to see you come through as a postgraduate student. So, for example, the first part of this document is why researchers review literature. Why do we review literature? And then it is, apart from the introduction I've given you, I just want you to note that you cannot climb to become a master's or a PhD student if you are not able to read a document and synthesize that document without leaving out critical elements of that document. That is part of the literature review. So why do we do the literature review? And you read that passage, and there is a topic review here. The topic review here, which will be your guide as to whether you have actually understood why we review literature. And then there is a discussion question, which again, I want to leave with you to be able to engage with that discussion question with your friends. And it reads like this: what information in this topic most convinces you that reviewing published literature is an important part of the research planning process? Explain. So you'll have gone through this document, the write-up there, you will do the topic review, and then you'll do the discussion question. Then there is a very important part 2 of this area that I would like you to bear in mind, and that is locating literature in electronic databases. And we have done this. Our library has these databases, and that will be your source of your literature. And you'll be looking at various databases that are captured in this description. This is from the book that I have written. So there are many sources. There is Psycho-Info, there is Google Scholar, there is Eric. You'll get a lot of materials, journals, newspaper articles, book abstracts, government documents, and so on and so forth. So you should know our main data sources, and you should begin to be able to use them as you are doing your literature searches using the library. Now we have topic review. Look at the topic review. Very important. Again, I'm leaving this to you. What is a database? What are some differences between a web searches and a database searches? So you'll go through that. And then there is a discussion question. I'm not asking this to be submitted as work, but I want you to look at it. For example, when you look at this discussion question, when you next search for journal articles, what advice from this topic will you put to use to approach your search? So there are those key terms which you will fit in to take you to the articles and then narrow it down. So that will come. Very important is structuring the literature review. Structuring the literature review, very important. So the first, let me just make sure that we are together. The first bit is the second bit is here. Sorry. Literature and electronic databases. And the first part of this document is why researchers review literature, why we review literature is important. Then databases, and then this is structuring the literature review. Again, you must read to know what structuring the literature review is all about. And there are examples given here. Example 1, example 2, example 2 is here. So I'll want you to go through those examples as you understand. And we shall know, those who will have read this, when it comes to your writing your proposal, is when we shall pick it up. Helen, you have a question? You have raised up your hand.
Yes, Prof. Just a question that based on our last discussion and in one of the lectures, we were a bit confused about how far should we cite. Is it 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, or?
Yeah. And my answer was the currency of the literature is important. So 10 years, but you can also go 50 years or 100 years if the paper has become the Bible. It is what we call a seminal paper, a paper that everybody makes reference to, a paper that has the highest citations. Surely if you're in an area like cyberbullying, you'd want to quote that paper because everybody, every journal you read, you're finding that article being quoted. So you like to be part of the assembly. So look at this. This is a passage I will do speed reading. Yeah?
I said, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So this is the topic review. This is the discussion question. Please be careful. I can leak the exam for you for free. Most of your questions that you'll get from me, your multiple choice questions, your study case questions will be coming from topic review and discussion questions. Then connecting the literature review of your study, connecting the literature review to your study. This is now chapter 4 of your thesis. Very, very important. You now must begin to tell us how do your findings relate to the literature you'll have read. And there are several examples you are given there for you to look at and internalize. So when you are writing your chapter 4 discussion, a discussion is just telling us how your results resemble, differ, compare to the studies that you had done earlier as you started your study in a particular area. So take note of these topic reviews. Questions that are very important for you, and take note of the discussion question that we are putting up. Othello, your hand is up, yes?
In which case, we are saying that you can quote one author twice in your paper. Like, for example, in your literature review, this author is quoted, then you relate your study, especially discussion area of chapter 4, you are relating to the same authors you have quoted earlier in your literature review.
True.
Is that
That's what we call threading in writing your proposal. The studies I made in your chapter 1 under introduction, I'll keep meeting them in chapter 2, and then I'll meet them again in chapter 4. Yeah? Generally speaking. So that's very important. Now, preparing to write a critical review will be my topic of discussion next week, because I have to give you some more points on how you're going to write a literature review that is convincing, given the area of your study and given the material you'll have found from the electronic databases. So we'll spend some time next week in this area. This area to me is very important, the area of preparing to write a critical review. So I don't want just a literature review, I want a critical review of the literature. And then creating a synthesis, we have talked about this. Remember, you are now developing something new from different studies, creating a synthesis. So I want you to read through this, have an idea of how a synthesis is written. And we are talking of critical synthesis, not just copying and pasting material. And then you have the topic reviews, very important, which I'll want all of us to just, as you are reading, to take note of the topic reviews. And also, as I've said, for every section, take note of the discussion questions as shown. And why academics use citations. This is interesting. Why do we cite? So this is again for you to look at citations and read. The material is quite simple to follow. Why do we cite? And there are many formats, but for Daystar, we use the APA. We use the APA for citing in our thesis. There is the Chicago, there is the ASS style, but we use the APA style for citing, and that's the format adopted by the Senate of Daystar University. Then you'll have topic review. What is citation? What are the two paths to citing a source? And you're given different types. And then very important is introduction to style guides. I just want you to know that there are many guides, but we use the American Psychological Association guide for citation as a university, as a Senate requirement. So that's the one that we use. So the others, I'd rather you ignore them for now, but know that they exist, University of Chicago and so on. But this is the one we use. And now we are using the manual, this manual this one, the APA manual, I think 7th edition. So this is something for you to follow up and know how to use it. I'm sure the library can also assist you in that. So then you have the topic review is given, and the discussion question is also given. So you already have the exams, so you don't say how will the exams look like. These are the exam questions will come from here. They can't come from anywhere else. But there'll be multiple choice questions, so you know how difficult they are. And that would end our literature review chapter. But next week, I still have to go through, I have to tie up aspects of literature review. As I told you, apart from creating the synthesis, it is very important for me to emphasize how you prepare to write a critical review and how you'll structure your chapter 4. So we'll have to get into those. And also next week, I said I want to talk about justification. I want to talk about limitation, delimitation, and assumptions so that we are ready to craft our chapter 1 of our proposal development. I think that is what I wanted to cover today. So you expect 2 documents from me, the PowerPoint presentation, and now the notes. These are what you're calling the notes for literature review for your reference. And then next week, I will try to tie in the loose ends, emphasize what I want to emphasize, and we shall have finished reviewing and citing literature review. Now, what will remain is the practice, making sure that you are able to practice and get it right. Any worries, any comments?
Yes, Prof.
Yes, go ahead, yeah.
Thank you. This is Chris. At least chapter 2, from where I sit and speaking for myself, this is well captured. I think it's because you've begun it when I was settled. I have a request that just as you give us the notes for the 2nd chapter, I think it's also good that I think most of us joined when chapter 1 had begun. And in that state of confusion, I'm sure there are some who are still confused. Therefore, I would request that if you deem it fit, maybe when we are done, we will have a revision of chapter 1, so that we're able to get it right. Thank you.
Yeah, but I want the class to know that into the next semester, I have taken the classes for it was supposed to be a symposium. I'm going to call it disciplined inquiry. We are now going to start developing our chapter 1, our chapter 2, our chapter 3 of our proposals. And in doing that, we shall be going back. What was a problem statement? What is a conceptual framework? What is a theoretical framework? What is a literature review? How do we write a literature review, by the way? We haven't even done that. I have to go through it in this class, but then now we shall pick the practice when we are starting our own individual proposals, ready to defend immediately you finish the course so that you can go out and collect that. Yeah. Any other worrying point? Any other question?
Yes,
from the
Prof,
class?
this may not be directly related to the class. I just want to offer my congratulations. I think people were doing that congratulations when I was entering the class on this achievement of the individual achievement and the achievement of digital university through your leadership, your able leadership. And when you joined Daystar, I remember in 2019, February, if I'm correct, when you were doing the installation, you said that my priority number one will be spiritual. Spirituality, I will take spirituality very seriously. And you have lived up to this. And thank God that this is actually bearing fruit massively. And we give glory to God for this. I just pray in my comment, my little comment I made, I said that we have to build on what has been achieved so that we continue, we go further.
Okay. Wow, thank you very much. Taslin Otieno?
Good evening, Prof.
Good evening.
Mine is also just to congratulate you and the institution at large for the milestone that you've been able to achieve. And I also just wanted to know what how Shakahola went. That is something that I'm very curious about. Thank you.
Yeah, my team is there. In fact, they're sleeping in Kilifi today. They have been there collecting data. I will be going there next week. I want to fly down there to the site, and then we shall start to write the detail. We have 1 year study on Shakahola, so it's a longitudinal study. We'd like to look at different aspects of it and not, come up with a cross-sectional study where you walk in and walk out. We'd like to see how the situation is evolving as we move along. Yeah, thank you. Any other comment? Anybody else as we close?
Prof, you had said that we remind you to project the video of Phyllis Whitney.
Oh yeah. Can I just send it to you? Can I send it as a part of the material?
Yes.
So that each one of you has it. Yeah, very, very good. Good, and please remind me.
Prof, just on the Shakahola.
Yeah.
Just on the Shakahola, and I think I'm happy you're indicating that the team has been focused in the cost following up on this, but there could be several other Shakaholas, because I think there's a video I witnessed where one notorious so-called pastor cutting pieces of paper and asking congregants to buy, and that would convert into money. So the scoping of this, beyond just what happened at Shakahola, it may be interesting to see how it actually comes to look at how the practice of religion and cultism happens in several other areas beyond the geographical area that has been actually targeted. Thank you.
Good point. Good point. And we are, by the way, this study, if you asked me, has to have certain implications that can be reconfigured to influence the way we worship God in this country. I think we have pushed it too far. And we talk about Shakahola is hypnotizing people. So when I walk to your church with a briefcase and leave you 2 million shillings, that's part of Shakahola mentality. I then don't see anything wrong about you because you gave me money. We want to use it as a point to try and just influence the practice of, call it religion, call it spirituality, call it our value system vis-a-vis God as a country. Yeah, so we are praying about it, but we are also doing a lot of literature review, extensive literature review, not just in Africa, but across. But I'm also aware of many Shakaholas, Boaz, this I don't want to call it blind absorption, because somebody also will tell me, but why are you believing in a God you have not seen? But we are praying that God will give us the mind and the latitude of thought to be able to bring out findings that will be truly useful to how we worship, congregate, and submit ourselves to the teachings of the Bible or even the Quran. So thank you very much. So there being no other business.
There's one more business.
Yeah.
I just wanted, when I joined the class, when I applied for this program, I had several questions in mind in terms of the direction I'd like my research to take. So my question to you is this something I can start sending you in terms of exploring the direction I want to go for guidance, or do I wait until you finish?
No.
Building up as you teach us.
Yes, yeah, just with the topic, the concept, one page like that. Everybody, and I'm encouraging everybody to do that so that we can begin to, you can begin to engage your mind, and we can begin to give you some materials around where you want to do your study, so that by the time we are through with coursework, really everybody should have chapter 1, 2, and 3 in their hands, maybe not ready for defense, but for cleaning up for defense. Good?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I was actually planning to do that, and I was waiting for. Thank you for coming very fast with it.
Yeah, that's okay. So wish you well. Jioni njema, kesho tunakutana. Nafikiri mnajua mna mtihani mfupi sana. Nafikiri itachukua muda wa nusu saa, alafu tuendelee na mambo ya policy studies. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Prof, you can end for me as
Good
the
night.
host for everyone, if you don't mind.